Hello everyone, this is Zeeebo and welcome to this AFK journey video. So in this AFK journey video, we're going to run through Zeeebo's free-to-play Guild Supremacy team for the Guild Supremacy boss. So for this season, one of the toughest challenge yet again is to get your hits into the Guild Supremacy boss. So I'll use my free-to-play account today to showcase the teams and then talk about the different updated stuff for this season. So first of all, for the artifact portion, if you're on the global server side, right, the best artifact for bossing would probably still be Starshot Spell in most cases, because the true damage from your whole team's damage as well as the haste buff is just really good even moving into the new season. However, as you progress further into the season itself with higher artifact levels on the artifacts such as Harmonic Spell or even Overcharge Spell, the increase in stats from this artifact as well as the ability boost will probably make your teams a lot stronger as you progress further. So for the Guild Supremacy side, for the artifact, do trial and error with all the different artifacts to see which one works the best for you. So for today's video, we'll be using Starshot Spell because it is still one of the hardest hitting artifact, even if my artifact is currently at level 17 or so. So let's go into the Guild Supremacy side. So we are currently at difficulty 14. For the Guild Supremacy side, there will be a level cap over here. So we are currently at 581 and the boss has 374 billion damage. So if you go into the rankings itself, we can actually see the members damage. So I haven't done my hits here. So most of us hover around that 5 bill mark. So that will be the benchmark for the team. And obviously, if you have more levels, more EX weapon or more tiers on your units, you're going to hit a little bit harder on the boss itself. So that's for the thing. Let's go into battle report. Okay, so I think we don't have the records of the battles. So that's one of the tough part about Guild Supremacy, and that is you actually need to be sitting in front of the boss to record it, because let's say if the boss is down, there's no battle records, and you also cannot share a replay in Guild Supremacy. So I'll be talking about a few teams which I actually use across multiple different days and then talk about the best team. So if you go into battle right now, this is the best team setup for this season. Okay, we're running the Mauler Factional Talent and I'll be using OD as our Prime Carrier. So Prime Carrier gets this damage boost, which means that your OD is gonna be hitting a lot harder. And on top of that, because of the Mauler Factional Talent right here, Relentless Hunt, it allows the Prime Carrier to mark the enemies that dealt the most cumulative damage, which is obviously the boss, and then teleport next to the prey to knock them down to deal damage. And this also allows the Prime Carrier to get an increased life drain and also even more buff later on as you move further into the stages. So that's for the factional talent side, but most importantly is for the repositioning for OD to teleport in front, such that when Mikola actually runs in front, you are able to buff OD up with Mikola's ultimate right here. So this ultimate gives you additional haste on top of the range defense buff. And you also have your Honor Arena buff, the attack buff. You also have Smokey's buff. You also have Smokey's heal, as well as the buff from Sonya onto your 2 core carries, which is Lily May as well as OD. So for Lily May slot, I think you can also use Bonnie if you are from the newer group of players where Lily May might not be built up for you, or you can also try to use another Mauler damage dealer to fill up this Lily May damage dealing slot. So I'll showcase 2 different variants, or rather I'll just showcase the one with Bonnie because I think Bonnie is more relevant, and I think Bonnie with OD is actually pretty decent in terms of a damage duo because of Bonnie's ability to do a lot of damage as well as also enhance the magical damage for the team itself. So without further ado, let's showcase this team. Let's go. Okay, so this is how the battle looks like. I will just be going at 2 times and then talk about all the different post-battle reports and also share a few teams that I use for the other factions itself, so you guys can have a reference point of what teams you can use for yourself based on the units you have. So as usual, for all these boss battles, your tiers of your units are gonna be placing more importance than anything else, because the tiers of your units decides the upper cap of your damage output. So what this means is, obviously if you have all these units right here but their tiers are not very good, then you did rather use your stronger units. So another thing that Lily May has going for her in this team is that Lily May will actually stay in the front as compared to Bonnie. So this means that Lily May has a higher chance to be buffed up by Mikola, because if you take a look at where Mikola is standing right now, Bonnie is not getting the Mikola buff itself. So that is like the bummer part when using Bonnie. So if you are using Lily May will be closer to the Mikola part, and that will allow you to do more damage. So this is the damage distribution. Okay, as you guys can see, the main damage dealer are these few. And Lily May definitely could do more than Bonnie, because for most of the battle, Lily May will be buffed up by Mikola if you do have Lily May in your account. So that's my one run gone. But this is my damage right now in terms of the guild ranking right here. Okay, so 4.9. Yeah, so like if I'm using Lily May, I'll probably in the 5 build range. So that will be the few recommendations. So I'll talk about some like arrangements or some team ideas that you guys can set up for yourself to actually have a strong run. Okay, so let's go. I'll use the normal AFK stage as a grid to showcase the teams. Yeah, we'll go into factional trials. Okay, so for the Mauler side, obviously the OD as well as Sonya as well as the Mikola one works all the time. Okay, so this is one way you can do it. So that is the best team, or rather my best team on this free-to-play account. And then there are some variations where they cut out Lily May and then put in Shakir. That will give you more buffs on your frontliner like Sonya as well as OD. And then you can actually use Lily May, like I mentioned earlier, where Lily May will be more forward compared to Bonnie, because Bonnie's skill will always cause her to teleport to the back from the third skill itself. So this is to protect herself, but in the auto battle setting, she doesn't get that much of a synergy with Mikola, unfortunately, compared to Lily May, who has a shorter attack range and also doesn't move around the map as much, because Lily May is inbound but mostly on the spot, so she will be able to benefit from the Mikola buff more. Another team setup that I used previously was using the Wildest factional talent. So we use Lily May for this one, we use Damien for the buff itself, and then Parisa for an additional buff. Okay, so this will give you the Wildest Howl, and Wildest Howl gives you this Sylvan Shrike over here, which increases your damage for non-ultimate skills, which is basically your OD's normal attack. So that's one way for OD to hit decently hard as well. But the Mauler team earlier was a lot better based on my few runs in the past few days. So this would be the structure, I guess. Maybe for this one, you can also use Sonya for the buffing purposes, and you can also use the likes of Reina for the debuffing. So for this one, you can do this, for example, and then you can also maybe use Iron to be sent forward depending on how your team is built up. But I think in most cases, Mauler should be the way to go in terms of the best team setup, because the Mauler units as well as the factional talents just synergize with each other really well. For the Wilder side, unfortunately, this season Brian lost the magical charm debuff, so I don't think Brian's gonna be like the most optimal choice, and I'll probably be testing like the different comms in the next few days. So Brian last season was used more as a debuffer as well, but this season got this magic charm ability, which makes him more of a DPS but less effective as a bossing unit, because his debuff was a lot better for the whole team in general. So that's the unfortunate part. So I guess this would probably be the best Wilder setup. Maybe for Reina you can use Sonya obviously, and then you can swap out the units which you don't need for the factional talent to see whether or not other buffing units like Smokey or other buffing units like Mikola can work better for you. So these are the few suggestions for the Guild Supremacy boss in the early to mid game for this season. Thank you very much for tuning in. Do remember to like and subscribe to see more. See you guys again in my next video. Bye guys.